This is the Bright Tangerine Axl. It's an EVF mount. Let's take a look at it. First off, if you don't know anything about Bright Tangerine, they're a British-based company. They build some high-quality products, and this is no exception. It does cost around $700 US, so it's definitely on the pricey end of things. You know, relative to the cost of an EVF itself, this one is $1,200. So you're paying a lot, but you get a nice piece of hardware. And if you're a shoulder rig shooter like I am, having a really high-quality product like this that makes your life a lot easier is kind of worth the expense. Here's a good close-up shot. It's this part comes down with this knob and the part that mounts onto the EVF, of course not the EVF itself. It mounts on rods. I suppose you could use it underneath the lens, but it's going to drop that EVF down probably way too low. The idea with this is you have one knob here. If you loosen this, it lets you slide this in and out. It has markings on the top so you can easily put it back where you had it. And it also loosens up this so you can swivel this end. I'm going to put this back here. And then it also has this knob here. If you loosen it, you can rotate your EVF here. And you notice it has hard stops there so that knob never hits this thing. It stops. So it kind of rotates independently like this. It's pretty nice. And then you have a quick release here. If you do that, it slides out. And they have a number of different kind of mounts here designed for different brands. This is the simple RE rosette mount. It's compatible with this Portkeys EVF. They also have ones meant for Zacuto, which uses a quarter 20, don't ask me why. And they have some for Sony and just RE, other brands they have a different connection onto the actual EVF. They all have the same dovetail like this, so that slides in here. That's pretty easy to use. So with this rig, I had to figure out how to get rods on top of my camera because I usually never have rods up here. I usually have rods down under here on the bottom, which is easier to do. So I found this block here that mounts straight onto my cage, and it has a NATO rail on top, so I'm still able to use my top handle here. This is from Wooden Camera. That's actually independent there. So it slides independently. Anyway, you get an idea of how that all mounts together, and if you loosen this knob, it'll just slide off the front. You can see how it has this mechanism here. When you turn this knob, it tightens down on the clamp that's in here, all with one knob, so everything locks up tight. So this stops moving, it clamps on the rod, and this connection here also tightens up. This one's independent though, this one down here. So I would say it's definitely well made. I think like most of their products, they take pride in their manufacturing, the quality of their products. I'm probably not going to keep this though because two reasons. One, it is very expensive at $700. It's pretty hard to justify. Two, mostly because of this, the way it sticks out, it's just not, I don't like that. It sticks out too far. I mean, that's almost 2 inches too long for me. Now, of course, if you have a different camera rig, you know, the body might be much wider, the rods might be over here, and you'll need this length to get your EVF out where it is. But this sticks out as it is far enough when this is all the way over. When this rod is all the way in, or rather this bar is all the way in, this EVF sticks out just about perfect where I want it with my eye. And the other reason is the way this works here, I'm often flipping my EVFs up like this so I can get a low shot like this, so I can look down on the lens. And this knob, as quick as that is to do that, it's not as quick as this kind of contraption here, which is just a rosette on both sides, and it's quick release. So when you push that button, see how that spins? I usually have this right here, and I push it and I go flip up, push it again, flip back down. It's quicker and faster than this thing. And this with my other setup here, which I'll show in a second, is much cheaper, much more affordable than this. As nice as this is. Also, I don't know if I'm a big fan of having rods on top of my rig like this. It kind of makes it harder to get at my lens mount, especially if I have rods on the bottom here, trying to get at my lens to undo it. I also have to figure out how to get a follow focus, which I usually have a separate rod for over here. I don't want to get in the way. I don't want this to get in the way of my follow focus. On different lenses, they're back here. I could see this being in the way of a follow focus. Let's say this is the gear I wanted to control on some of my lenses. I'd have to make sure that this wasn't up too high. It'd have to be down here, which would mean I'd have to make sure my bar is mounted down lower. Not a huge deal, but it could definitely get in the way depending on the lens and the configuration of this thing. And I couldn't just mount this on this rod. If this rod was longer, I might be able to get that. But see, then again, it would be so close to everything. I wouldn't be able to go this way with it because the connections are on this side. They'd be up against the axle when the wheel wouldn't reach anyway. So yeah, let me show you how this looks rigged up. So the idea with the shoulder rig is you want to get an EVF like this located so that it's, you're just comfortable. It just kind of rests when the camera's comfortably sitting on your shoulder. The EVF is right where it needs to be, and I have this one in that position. This is very comfortable for me. I would usually have my follow focus wheel right here. I don't have this fully rigged up, obviously there's no cables on my EVF. This is just to show you how this could look on your rig. Every camera's a little different. One thing I do want to point out is you see this knob here. This is kind of what it controls everything. See how far out it sticks on my rig? This is a Zcam E2 F6, the full frame 6K, and it's a small compact cube body, and with this thing in the position where I want it, yeah, this arm sticks way out. Not a huge deal, but yeah, I mean, for this exact rig, it's not perfect. I'll show you a different rig, a rig that I would normally use with this setup, and you'll see the difference, and also I'll show you the difference in price. All right, so here's with my other rig, my cheap rig. You can see how it fits just about the same as it did with the Axl. I can get it lined up with my eye in a comfortable position, and I have enough movement with all these parts and pieces that I could, move it around however I need. And like I said, I still get this, which means I can do these low angle shots, which I really like doing. And it's just so much easier than and faster than the Axl. Like no complaints about the Axl. It's nice that it has, the knob. It's designed for that, but it's just not as quick as a quick release like this, which I can just do one-handed in that fast. So I usually have a different arm here, but it's kind of the same story. So I have an adapter here that mounts onto my 3/8 with RE locating pins. Gives me a rosette. I've got this arm here. This one's from Zacuto. It's adjustable, actually goes in and out this way. And I come down to this thing here, and this is what I was talking about here. I push this, bam. Like, you can't beat that for speed. It's a quick release, so it just pops into position like that. It's really cool. And obviously this is much cheaper. This thing I think is like 50 bucks. This arm from Zacuto would probably cost 100 bucks because everything from Zacuto is expensive. But this adapter again is like 40 bucks. I think this is from 8sin, this rosette adapter. I'll put all the parts and pieces down below in the description. You notice though that I had to offset my handle off the center of the body of the camera, which isn't a bad thing necessarily because the camera kind of balances out the EVF, but that's just to get the EVF further away from the camera body. I've had other configurations with this kind of thing in the past. I've come off of a rod here with a different kind of arm, but the problem with rods is I don't care how strong of a clamp you have on it, you can easily move that thing out of position on the rod. It'll just spin on the rod, whereas all these RE rosettes, none of these are going to come loose. They're all notched, they have teeth. They don't move at all. This is all solid. So comparatively, this is probably like $200 worth of mounting parts versus $700. And well, I had to buy this. This is this nicey rig, that kind of cheap Chinese stuff. But it's actually pretty cool. So it just has a slot in the bottom you can mount onto 1/4-20 mounting holes, and then has 2 clamps. And across the top, again, it has a NATO rail, which is really cool. So that's actually kind of a nice piece of kit to get rails on top of your camera. I looked at some other ones. Bright Tangerine themselves make this thing that would fit a 3/8 RE locating pin deal right here in the front. It would come out and give me rod mounts, but it would move everything up higher. I mean, it wouldn't maybe reach my eye. Even as adjustable as this is, I can't get it down quite low enough. That's all I got for you in this video. Subscribe for more little videos like this. I'll make them as I find more interesting gear like this. Thanks.